What is going on, guys? Lex here. Today I'm bringing you all another video, and what we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be bringing you all an updated version of the DayZ FPS tutorial I made last year in 2017, but I'm going to be bringing you a 2018 version with a few more tweaks. I'm going to be bringing you guys some new tips in this video. There is going to be some things that you might have already done. I'm just going to go over those and explain what they are and explain how they can give you better FPS. But what we're going to do is we're going to come straight into the DayZ game and start off obviously in the video menu. We're going to be looking at the video menu and the game menu. To start off though, we're going to be looking here in the game menu. So to start off with, we're going to be looking at FOV. So the higher you have your FOV, it tends to be the more your game's having to render in, the more your computer's going to have to render in, because obviously you're seeing more around you, so your computer's rendering more grass, more buildings, whatever. But if you were to have lower FOV, like, I don't know, 65 rather than 74, which is what I usually play on, you're not rendering as much in. It doesn't give much of an FPS boost, but it does help you squeeze out a few extra frames, and you know, if you're really struggling for it, then it doesn't really hurt, especially considering that, you know, the starting FOV is like 55 or something that you usually start on. But yeah, if you're really struggling for FPS, then just turn your FOV down. It squeezes more FPS out. Next up, we've got head bob. It doesn't really do much, but you can turn it down, you know, just so you're not, your character's head's not rocking around everywhere and you can't even see what's going on. I usually have it on like the bottom or about there. Just a little bit of head bob because I do like my realism. Next up, we go to video right here. What you want to do is set the overall quality to custom. Come down to VSync. The only time you'd ever have VSync enabled is if you're getting screen tearing. If you're not getting screen tearing, disable it. There's no need for it, and it gives you more FPS. Objects, obviously, put those to very low if you need to. I just have them normal. Terrain, put that to low or very low. But if you see in the corner right here, when it's on very low, the ground's really blurry and you can't really see any grass. There's no grass, so I suggest you just keep it on low. You know, you get the grass, and you know, really turning your terrain up doesn't really do much. Clouds, I recommend you disable them because they don't do anything either. They just kind of sit there in the sky. I mean, if you like your game to look really pretty, I suppose you could do that. Shadows, disable them. Look at this, I've got my shadows disabled. I do usually have them on normal, but I've got them disabled. And if you look at the bottom down here, there's still shadows. Screen resolution, set this to your native monitor resolution. If you don't know how to do that, just go to your desktop, right click on your desktop, click display settings, and it'll pop up showing you your resolution. That's basically how you find it, and then whatever it is, it'll say like recommended next to it. Whatever it is, you just come down here, change it to whatever it is. I will show you guys how to do that, but yeah, if you already know how to do that and you already know your monitor resolution, then just set it to what it is. You can set it lower, it will boost your FPS, but you know, it makes your game look all like pixelated and blurry and everything. Video memory, set that to auto. If you have it set to anything less, like 2048 MB, then all it's going to do is just use 2048 megabytes. You want it on auto so it uses as much as it can. Texture detail, you can turn this down. It doesn't really make too much of a difference for me. If you have a really low end computer though, yeah, you obviously just turn that to very low. Turn everything to very low, that's all I can really say for the in-game settings. Texture filtering, now this kind of does matter. I would suggest setting that to low or very low, either or. Anti-aliasing, it's not too much of a difference. I've noticed in the latest update of 0.62 DayZ, I've not really noticed much of a difference. I do just keep it disabled just for the sake of, you know, in case I can grab any more FPS. Disable your alpha to coverage. Edge smoothing, I recommend you just set this to SMAA low or SMAA normal. Either or, doesn't really matter. You do get a boost in frames though when you use SMAA compared to FXAA. So yeah, I recommend you use SMAA. HDR quality, I recommend you set that to very low. It will give you a huge boost in FPS, believe it or not. Post-process quality, I just have that set to low because if you look right here, you can see the sun right through the bridge. If you set that to very low, it just basically turns the rays down a little bit. Ambient occlusion, you can enable that if you want to. It just basically adds like shadows to the objects, if you get what I mean. So if you drop a coat on the floor, you'll see a shadow coming from the coat. That's like the best way to explain it. Bloom, set that to the bottom, just wrecks your FPS. Same with the rotation blur. And then yeah, click apply. Now what we're going to do is head to the desktop. I'm going to show you some tricks that might help you get some more frames, so let's go. Alright, so we're on the desktop right now, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showing you a few commands for Steam that you can use on DayZ, on Standalone. These commands will 100% boost your FPS, so if you're going to take anything away from this video, I recommend definitely putting these commands into your Steam. Alright, so we're going to start off here where it says max memory. I have 16 gigabytes of RAM, so I've just put in 8192. If you have 2 gigs of RAM, put 2048 in, and if you have 4 gigs of RAM, put 4096 right here. If you have 16 gigs of RAM like me, or 8, then you put this in as well. Alright, so next up we're going to be looking right here where it says CPU count. I'm going to show you how to find out the amount of cores you have. So what you want to do is come right down here into the search bar at the bottom left and search device manager like that. If you're on any other Windows, I'm sure you know how to get to device manager. I'm pretty sure you just go to control panel and it's there. If you don't know how to go to control panel, you right click and it's on there. So but if you're on Windows 10, you do it like I just did it. Anyway, once you're in here, you just go to processors, and if you have 4 of these like me, then that means you have 4 cores. If you have like 2 of these, then you have 2 cores, and if you for some reason have 1, then that means you have 1 core. So yeah, once you've done that, you just come right back to here and set this. So say you have 4 like me, you just put that as 4. Like I said, if you have 2, you put it as 2. Alright, next up we're going to look at maxVRAM. Now this is your video RAM, and to find out your video RAM, what you want to do is right click on your desktop, go to display settings, scroll down until you find display adapter properties. You click into this, and then right there where it says dedicated video memory, that's your VRAM. So I have 4096, so I would write 4096 right there. It basically enables DayZ to use the amount of video memory that you've put there. So like if you have 4096, DayZ is going to use 4096, but you're squeezing a load of FPS out. noSplash, that just skips the whole Bohemia thing at the beginning. Maloc system, that's a good thing. It smoothens your FPS and your game out all round, so I just recommend putting that in. But I'll leave all these commands in the description so you can just drag them in and adjust them to your own system. But yeah, this will help a lot, so definitely do this. Alright, so what we're going to do now is we're going to head into the config file. So what you want to do is go to your PC, then documents, into DayZ, and then into the .dayz profile. Obviously yours won't say this, yours will have your name or whatever, .dayz profile. So yeah, just click on the .dayz profile file like that. It should open with Notepad. If not, literally just right click, open with Notepad. Okay. Alright, so once you're in the Notepad file, what you want to do is just scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you will be able to see some of the settings we changed earlier in game. But what we're really looking for right now is the scene complexity right here and the viewing distance right here. Now these are the default for both. 500,000 for the scene complexity and 3,800 for the view distance. So we're going to start off with view distance. I recommend just knocking this down to like 1,000, because honestly you're not going to be having, like, it's rare that you have gun battles or gun shootouts or whatever in DayZ that's over like 1,000 meters, and if you're really struggling for FPS, then I definitely recommend you set this to 1,000. Obviously if you're not, you want a bit more FPS but your PC can sort of handle DayZ, then just knock this down to like 2,000. I mean, when I used to have my old PC, I had this on 3,000. Right now I can keep it up because I've got a better PC now. But yeah, I recommend you just knock that down to about 1,000 or 2,000, just depending on whether you think your PC will be able to run it or not. This is in meters, by the way, so if you set it to 1,000, it will be in meters. That's how far you can see in the game, so 1,000 meters. Alright, so let's check the scene complexity. So by default it's 500,000. Now I would recommend, if you've got a really low PC and you're really struggling for frames on DayZ, just knock this down to like 100,000 or 150. But if you've got like an okay PC, maybe put this to like 300. I'm going to leave it at 500 just because that's what I use. Alright, so we've got another one right here, the preferred object view distance. I recommend you set this to whatever your viewing distance is set to. So if your viewing distance is set to 1000 meters, I would say set your preferred object view distance to 1000 meters as well. Alright, so once you've done all this, just come over here where it says file, click it, file, and then save. Alright, so this next step is for NVIDIA users only. If you're not an NVIDIA user, then I'll leave a certain timestamp in the video where you can just skip to for the next step. But if you are an NVIDIA user and you haven't done this already, then you're definitely going to want to do this. So right click on your desktop, go to the NVIDIA control panel, go to manage 3D settings, and you'll get this little drop down box like this, and where it says power management mode, it might be set to one of the other ones. Just set it to prefer maximum performance, and then scroll down, and where it says texture filtering quality, set that to high performance or performance. If you're really struggling for frames, obviously set that to high performance. This will definitely help when it comes to getting frames on DayZ. Alright, so the next step I'm going to give you guys for getting better FPS is 100% high algo boost. I used to use this on Skyrim on my old PC. It's so good. It basically squeezes FPS out when you need it most. I'll leave a link to this in the description. I don't currently have it downloaded because I don't need it anymore. But if we have a quick read right here, how does it work? Boost intercepts and on the fly modifies commands sent from the game to the graphics card, optimizing performance frame by frame. When you are in the action and the camera moves, boost decreases the resolution to boost the frame rate. When the camera stops, it restores full resolution. This provides optimal responsiveness and smoothness for the game, even with a weak graphics card. Trust me, I really would recommend this. I said on the last video Razer Cortex is good, but some people said it was good and some people said it wasn't. I mean, it's up to you if you try Razer Cortex, but this definitely works. I can promise you that. It worked on Skyrim for me on my old PC, so I'll leave a link to high algo in the description, and I definitely recommend that you come and download this and just try it out, and if it's not for you, then obviously you can uninstall it. No harm done. If this video did help you, then please leave a like on the video, as it takes a lot of time to put these FPS tutorial videos together, and feel free to subscribe for more DayZ content. I did have a few more tips for this video, however I left them out simply because I felt they wouldn't give too much FPS. But yeah, leave a like on the video if this helped you, subscribe for more DayZ, and I'll see you all on the next video.